Hi, everyone. I don't think I've met any of you before, so it's so nice to meet you. Please come find me at dinner or any other time, and I'd love to chat more. So my name is Dalia. I am a user experience researcher, and it is a privilege to speak to you all today. Many of you have a lot of experience already building games, and some of you already have very successful worlds in Horizon. So I'm not going to tell you how to build games in this talk, and instead I'm really excited to share insights on how to enhance the social aspects of your VR experiences, because Horizon isn't just a place to go to play a game or attend a concert. It's a place where users can go to connect with others and find a sense of belonging. So I hope you'll leave today with actionable strategies that can help foster connections in your worlds. And together we'll fill Horizon with great game worlds that bring people closer together and build community. So a bit about me. My background is in research. I've been here at Meta for about 2 years. For the first year, I was working on some non-Horizon VR titles that you'll find in the Quest store. And now for the last year, I've been committed to understanding what kinds of games content resonates with teens and young adults in Horizon. I'm especially passionate about understanding how we can deliberately build experiences to bring people closer together. So I run a rolling research program here, and I collect a lot of regular feedback on 1P and 2P Horizon worlds from teens and young adults. And we do games industry style playtesting. I also run interviews to understand how games are doing once they're out in the wild. So what's fun about them, what maybe could be better about them, so that we can learn from what's out there. I guess fun facts about me: when I'm not at work, you can find me exploring national parks, perfecting my pizza recipe, and buying lots of tools I don't need off of Facebook Marketplace. So, okay, players need a reason to play, and they need a reason to come back to a world. And we found that that reason is often social connection. We recently interviewed over a dozen teens and young adults that frequent some of the top VR games experiences on Horizon to understand what do they like so much about these worlds? Why do they keep visiting these worlds time after time? Why do they return? And from these conversations, we learned that these worlds are finding a lot of success due to their robust social frameworks. Teens and young adults said they were drawn to these worlds not only for their gameplay, but for their social interactions. And in many instances, these individuals said that the gameplay was kind of secondary to them. These worlds were good places for people to show up with the hope of meeting new people, maybe make some new friends, and if the vibes were good, they were motivated to return, maybe meet some more new people, and sometimes reconnect with people that they met in those worlds previously. So this connection is crucial for both initial engagement and longer-term retention. So the key takeaway here is to prioritize social interaction when designing your experiences. So game worlds are good places to meet people because they provide something to do while talking to others about your lives, your interests, or whatever else. A game or an activity provides a shared focus, and a shared focus makes socialization easier because it takes the pressure off of conversation. It's really nice to have something else to meet up with others around and to talk about, and not rely on having to walk up to a random stranger and try to initiate conversation, which can be kind of awkward. Well, it's awkward for me. I'm not good at it. Maybe some of you are. But these games serve as natural conversation starters. So what we're going to dive into next is how we can harness different kinds of experiences to bring people together. So across our research with the teens and young adult users of Horizon's most popular VR worlds, as well as experiences on ours and other platforms, we identified 6 key attributes that effectively encourage social behaviors in VR game worlds. I do want to note that these research insights that I'm going to talk to you about today stem from studies of VR experiences. Some of them may apply to mobile, but think of it in context of your VR experiences. So today I want to discuss strategies for implementing these 6 attributes, as well as show a few examples of them in practice. And it's important to note that you don't need to incorporate all 6 of these attributes in order to have a successful game world. Think of them as tools in your toolbox that you can selectively use to enrich the user experience and improve the social dynamics in your worlds, and hopefully to boost engagement and retention. So the first attribute is simplicity. And I feel like actually I'm going to probably be echoing a lot of what Andy already said this morning. But simplicity encourages socialization by allowing for easy engagement. There are several advantages of simplicity in game design. And it starts with easy onboarding. So having a straightforward game design means that players can understand and enjoy the game almost immediately. This quick entry is really essential for capturing and then maintaining players' interests. Ideally, as Andy said this morning, within the first 20 to 30 seconds, players should know where to go and what to do in order to quickly find fun with their friends. A game that is easy to understand is also going to reduce cognitive load. So if players don't need to memorize complicated rules or juggle too many objectives, then they're going to be able to relax, and they're going to focus more on interacting with the other people around them, sharing strategies, and making those meaningful connections that are ultimately going to motivate their return to Horizon. And lastly, simplicity makes the game approachable to a wider audience. We heard from a number of players that sometimes if the challenge feels too hard off the bat, it's daunting and it discourages them from trying. So simplicity not only invites those novice players who maybe are a little hesitant about trying something new, as well as those more skilled players who are maybe seeking a more relaxed social experience. I do want to acknowledge, though, that there are players that seek depth in their gaming experience. So simplicity doesn't have to equate to a lack of complexity. You can still have more intricate levels of play or greater challenges for those who want to spend the time and delve a little deeper in your worlds. The goal really is just immediate accessibility. Everyone should be able to join your world and start having fun. There should be something for everyone from the get-go when they first visit your world. So let's unpack this with 2 worlds that do a good job of delivering simple design. Who here has visited Sabre? Okay, yeah, pretty almost everyone. So clear and simple goals. When your Sabre activates, you have a handful of seconds to tag as many people as you possibly can and avoid being tagged yourself. It's pretty easy to learn, to pick up, no complicated mechanics. You're pretty much just jumping from platform to platform, either chasing or running away from your opponents. Rounds are also really short, they're bite-sized, and from kind of the spawn point lobby area, you can also look down if you want and kind of observe an existing game. So let's see, and what about superheroes versus space wizards? Who here has visited that world? See a few hands as well. So the goals are similarly simple in that world. You're using special powers and weapons to battle others around you. And it's pretty intuitive how to use those powers and those weapons. So the key is you don't need any skill to hop into either of these experiences and at least start having fun. Next, let's talk about how flexibility encourages socialization by offering a variety of opportunities for engagement. So first, sandbox elements. Sandbox elements provide a creative playground where users can collaboratively explore, experiment, and potentially even shape their environment around them together. Next, opportunities for role-playing. By assuming different personas, users can engage in varied social contexts. This enriches their interaction, and it's going to deepen their connection not only to the experience, but each other as well. Also allowing space for players to strategize or make choices. We've observed and heard from users that being able to coordinate plans, share tactics, and discuss choices with others helps make the experience feel more rewarding and engaging. And lastly, rule adaptation. If given the opportunity, players often collaboratively invent new ways to play by tweaking the rules. This adaptability accommodates various play styles and preferences, and we've found that it also seems to elongate play sessions because it keeps the experience feeling newer and fresher. So let's unpack this in 2 more examples. Who has visited VR Classroom? A fair number, yes. So this world has a school setting. It does a great job of allowing players to choose how they want to engage with the world and others around them. So it's got a really detailed setting to explore, lots of objects to interact with. You can sharpen pencils, you can play with balloons, you can take attendance, you can hand out assignments, and you can also collaboratively role play. You can be a student, you can be a teacher, you could be the principal. I think there's a hat where you can be a hall monitor as well. Yeah, so you can be whatever you want in that world. There's a lot of flexibility. And then the second world, spin the bottle. So as you guys probably know, you're gathered around a table, you've got a spinning bottle. When the bottle comes to a stop, that person has to choose which other player they'd like to shoot. Though this seems pretty straightforward, this also leaves quite a bit of room for flexibility. In a user research study, we found that players liked to strategize and discuss who they should shoot and why. It's also, there was a lot of discussion, or pleading, don't shoot me, and here's why you should shoot him instead. And some also come up with new rules to play by. We had one participant who was saying how, she regularly tried to come up with new ways to play in that world with her friends, and one of them was they were supposed to each say something about themselves, maybe a fact, or maybe something truthful, maybe something not, and then whoever had the gun was supposed to shoot someone who they thought was telling a lie. So maybe like a spin the bottle take on two truths and a lie. So this world is just really a great example of how accommodating different play styles boosts social interaction as well as lengthens those play sessions, giving them new ways to interact with the world. So the third thing is cooperative gameplay collaboration. So cooperative gameplay elements promote a sense of community. Across studies, across playtests of in-development worlds, we regularly hear from the teens and young adults that in these worlds that they're testing, they want more opportunities to collaborate and reasons or excuses to connect with others around them. Because it's awkward to just randomly walk up to someone, spark conversation. They expect that the game will in some way facilitate those interactions for them. And working with others towards a common goal is going to help foster this sense of camaraderie and belonging, and players are more likely to return to a world where they feel like it is easy for them to connect with others in it. So cooperative gameplay is therefore a really powerful strategy to create those meaningful interactions and keep players wanting to come back for more. So unpacking collaborative elements. Who's visited Haunted High before? See a lot of hands here as well. So players are trying to stop an infection that's spreading through an abandoned school. You've got a blowtorch, and you're trying to burn these infectious growths. And you're collaborating with others by kind of locating them. It's time-based. Rounds get progressively harder. But here's where the cooperation really comes in. There are these ghosts that are traveling through the corridors. They'll kill you if they catch you. And players have to work together by taking turns using this. There's a live map on a wall, and on this map you can see where all the ghosts are, you can see where all the other players are, and whoever is in front of the map can help guide the other players, kind of where to go, which way to turn, and how to avoid the ghosts. They help guide their companions to success. We found that having a greater chance of survival as a team really seems to increase interaction among players. It motivates them to want to talk to one another. And then there is Bobber Bay. Who's visited Bobber Bay? Everybody. This is a hangout world. You can catch and collect fish. Players are united by this shared collection objective. And in interviews and playtests, we saw that this collection objective really encourages players to cooperate by showing others where to find fish. So, you've got, I think it's called a fish deck, a little book where it shows you what fish you've already collected, which ones you still need. And not all fish are found everywhere. So players often help each other. Oh, you can find this fish on this part of the island. And in some instances, we even heard of players helping others catch fish that they were missing. So both of these worlds do a really good job of bringing players together by encouraging teamwork and shared strategy development. All right. Attribute 4, elements of suspense and thrill increase engagement and foster bonding among players. I know the first thing that probably jumps to your mind is horror. And horror games do a really good job of this, but your world doesn't have to be horror themed in order to have these elements of suspense and thrill. So they're powerful though, because they heighten the emotional response and these emotions such as fear and excitement. And when these emotions are experienced together among players, it strengthens their bonds and it increases their overall engagement and emotional investment in the experience, in the activity. Teen and young adult participants suggest that they gravitate towards these adrenaline-evoking experiences because they like how humorous and chaotic they often become. And they report that they generally walk away with really positive memories, not just about the experience, but about the people that they felt like they were in the trenches with. So there's many ways to cultivate suspense and thrill in these game worlds, and here are a few. So unexpected events, so maybe a sudden appearance of an enemy or environmental changes. These elements keep players on their toes. They can lead to some delightful jump scares, but you don't need jump scares. Any element of unpredictability, especially if the stakes are high, will breed suspense. Time pressure can also create a sense of urgency or thrill, as can audio cues, so sudden sounds or audio escalation. So for example, maybe footsteps get louder as an enemy is approaching, or a sound effect maybe gets louder or more frequent as time is running out. And lastly, environmental design. So in some of Horizon's more suspenseful worlds, a lot of our participants often reported appreciating darker, moody lighting and eerie, more foreboding details in those worlds. I'm going to reuse some worlds in my examples, so let's talk about Spin the Bottle again. So it's not a horror game, but it is really great at building suspense. There's the uncertainty of where the bottle will stop, whom the player will shoot, and whether or not a bullet is in the firing chamber. And all of this contributes to a thrilling and suspenseful atmosphere, and often some really intense socialization. So Haunted High does fall more in the horror category. Players experience this sense of fear and camaraderie as they search for growths and they run from the ghosts. It's got dimly lit corridors, there's really creepy sound effects. The ghosts make this kind of like deep roaring sound when they get you. And eerie visuals also increase the suspense. So the devil's in the details for that world for sure. Like if you're walking down the corridors, you'll see these like boarded up doorways. I'm pretty sure there's some like blood splatters on the walls. And this brings players together because it creates a shared sense of tension and maybe a little bit of unease. Fifth is mastery and achievement. So opportunities for mastery and achievement not only motivate players to return, but also foster interaction. So players derive a sense of satisfaction from overcoming challenges, enhancing their skills, and progressing towards their goals. And when they're working towards these things, they are more likely to reach out to others for help, for advice, or to show off whatever skills that they themselves have gained. And this sharing leads to valuable social interactions. There's also some social capital or validation from their peers at play here, like when they reach certain milestones or acquire new items. So when players have something tangible to show off, like a new gun that they earned, or maybe a new powerful weapon combination that they might have discovered, they're more likely to share about it with others and want to engage in conversation about it. So as game designers, we can encourage this kind of socialization by making sure that achievements are visible and tangible. We can give players rewards that they can show off to others, like maybe a unique item or special abilities or even things for them to wear has come up as something popular. In this way, we're creating space for players to share their achievements and connect with others. So I know Samurai Tycoon has come up today before. It does this really well. So in this world, players can grab a sword, chop bamboo, Slice flying fruit, catch fireflies, and more points unlocks new areas and tons of new swords and new outfits. And the ability to unlock these things provides players with this sense of accomplishment and social validation. In interviews, players reported showing off their new swords to others, or feeling inspired, more like jealous, of swords that other players had unlocked, and it motivated them to continue playing so that they too could reach that milestone and show that they could do it. They also reported returning to master certain skills, like sword throwing, and suggested that it was really common to help other players that were engaging in that same activity and to share tips and tricks and help one another achieve that success. And Bobber Bay is also a good example of this. Players are really proud of the fish they've collected. It's not uncommon for people to walk around and show off what fish they've collected, especially the hard ones. Has anyone caught a shark? I can't catch a shark, but I'm impressed when other people have. So this sparks further interaction and conversation, and participants also indicated that it was quite common for people to help each other master that fishing mechanic, which can be a little challenging at first to figure out. And then the last one here. Research participants suggested that satisfying interactions and locomotion-based mechanics are a key motivator for them to return to certain worlds. I'll remind you for the last time here that this is specific to VR experiences. When a world introduces a novel way to interact or move, it creates this common ground for players to explore it and discuss it together. It's this shared sense of discovery. I want to note that this is especially true with movement-based mechanics that can be improved with practice. Players end up helping each other learn and get better. They share tips. They show up to these experiences to practice more together. This makes the game more engaging, and it helps build a really strong community that players not only want to return to, but also contribute to themselves. So considering superheroes versus space wizards again, in this world, players are delighted in exploring the new movement capabilities together, like high jumping and flying, and they also noted recommending good weapon or power combinations for other people to try. And Octopus Bash here, who's been in Octopus Bash? Your arms are sore? Yeah, players are exploring, you're wreaking havoc as an octohuman, and it's really fun to traverse the world with others and climb, throw things with your tentacle arms, and the teen audience especially tends to enjoy these chaotic types of interactions. But in both of these worlds, it's this shared sense of discovery that encourages social interaction and helps players bond.
Thank you, Dalia.